Hi, everybody. It's Brother Peter, bringing you the weekly reflection. I won't call it a gospel reflection. Um, Today's the feast of Padre Pio. Some of you know that Padre Pio was the 20th century Franciscan who was burdened with or blessed with the stigmata. He was a mystic, and he did suffer greatly through his physical predicament, but also Padre Pio left a lot of writing behind, and he suffered great anguish. He had great anxiety and fear and trepidation throughout his religious life, because he was very much in touch with forces of evil versus good and how they came to play within the friary and in his own physical surroundings. He wrote a very beautiful book called The Agony of Jesus, and it's a long meditation on the experience of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. So, arriving at the garden, the Divine Master withdrew apart from his disciples, taking along only 3 of them, Peter, James, and John, to have them as witnesses of his sufferings. Would just these 3 who had seen him transfigured on Tabor between Moses and Elias, and who had confessed him to be God, would they now have the strength to acknowledge the man God in pain and mortal anguish? Entering the garden, he told them, "Remain here, watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. Be on your guard." He seems to say to them, because the enemy is not asleep. Arm yourself against him beforehand with the weapon of prayer, so that you may not become involved and led into sin. It is the hour of darkness. Having thus admonished them, he separates himself from them about a stone's throw and prostrates himself on the ground. He is extremely sad. His soul is a prey of indescribable bitterness. The night is advanced and bright. The moon shines in the sky, leaving shadows in the garden. It seems to throw a sinister brightness, a foreboding of the grave and dreadful events to come, which make the blood tremble and freeze in the veins. It seems as if stained with blood. A wind like the forerunner of the coming tempest agitates the olive trees, and together with the rustling of the leaves, penetrates to the bones, like a messenger of death, descending into the soul and filling it with deadly grief. Night most horrible, like which there will never be another. What a contrast, O Jesus! How beautiful was the night of thy birth, when angels leaping for joy announced peace, singing the Gloria. And now, it seems to me, they surround thee sadly, keeping at a respectful distance, as if respecting the supreme anguish of thy spirit. Wow, I just think that is so beautiful, that this person was able to connect so deeply with the suffering of the God that he truly believed in. He took it upon himself. He took this pain and anguish upon himself, and actually left a record of what that meant to him. And it's quite poetic and beautiful, and I'm sure it was even more so in the original Italian that he wrote it in. I have a crucifix. It is it's the cross of San Damiano, and it's a replica. It's a little replica of the cross that St. Francis originally experienced his vision. You know, Francis, go and rebuild my church. As you can see, it's falling into ruin. This is from the Padre Pio bookshop in London, and I actually bought this in 1986, almost 40 years ago. So these are ideas and thoughts I think that I've reflected on my whole life. So it's very deep for me to be able to listen to the words of Padre Pio on this day where, you know, we honor his feast. We honor him especially. So sitting here this afternoon, it's very peaceful. It's a wonderful early autumn day. I've just returned from a beautiful hospital visit with a 96-year-old woman who was just amazing. So I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude. I'm very grateful for all of you who connect with these little reflections, people who leave me little messages and let me know what that meant to this resonated with me on this particular day and why. And the point is, we're all on this sacred journey together, whether we're 96 and very near probably the end of our days, or just getting started and just learning about what our destiny is to be. One time a young man, I was leading a group at a church, and a young man said something like, you know, I'm really only 23, or I'm only 24, or whatever, kind of dismissively talking about, you know, what he was doing with his life, the decisions he was making, whatever. And it occurred to me that, no, it's not only 23 or 24. That's the point at which you set the trajectory for the entire rest of your life. So it's very significant, whatever you're deciding to do in those days. When you look back later in your life, you'll know how significantly every little decision of your youth, even frivolous ones, seemingly frivolous ones, determined the outcome in participation with the will of God, right? So I think there's also a force for good working with us, cooperating with us. I had a sponsor in AA long time ago who said that life is a tapestry. Our job is to keep pushing our needle in from our side, and the higher power will decide where the needle is going to come back out. So through our life, we're going back and forth in creating this gorgeous piece. So thank you all for listening. I wish you a wonderful autumn. It's just getting started. It's going to be great. You're doing wonderfully on your spiritual journey. Don't let anybody try to convince you that you're not exactly where you should be. You're doing fine. You look great. And I thank you for joining. God bless you and have a wonderful week.